Hey guys, welcome. It is Sunday. It's going to be February 9th, 2025. I'm hoping you're having a good Sunday. Let's just kind of get into the video. I'm doing a champion guide here on Belz the Reckoner. I'm only really going to show him in places I think he's going to be okay in. And if you're like me, you probably went for him because he was a guaranteed champion out of a deck of fate. I saw him essentially as an enabler for my Toshiro for Hydra, and I'll kind of go into why in a minute. But let's just kind of look over what I have him in, how I have his mastery set up, what blessing I would put on him, and then I'm going to show you a recording I did of my brutal Hydra run because I run a Trunda team for Nightmare. Okay, so let's just kind of look. I have him in Slayer. I don't have him in like full Savage or full Lethal, which probably would have helped out a lot, to be fair. Um, Slayer is definitely not the one you want him in because he only has one true AoE ability, right? And when you get a 6-piece, you can ignore 30% of enemy defenses with AoE abilities. But when we look over his abilities, he only has one true AoE ability, and the other two are single target. Um, and this one here is single target, and then it looks like it's an AoE ability, but it repeats the attack against all enemies of the initial target for leech. And I think this is coded to be single target, so it's like single target once and then single target for however many times people have leech on them, right? Um, you look at him and you think he's going to be a damage dealer, and sadly, I'm here to tell you he's not. Okay. If I can actually go to my brutal team and kind of show you what he honestly did for damage, it's not great. Um, I ran this team like this. Okay, obviously Toshiro is going to serve a purpose just like Trunda, where he is the main and pretty much only damage dealer. Um, we have Lady Mikage. She's in a little bit of protection, not much. She's mostly in Relentless and Perception. I'm probably going to move her over to full protection here soon. Krisk is in Hex and Perception. And he's my mischief tank, plus he provokes. Krisk is honestly great. He's a Swiss Army knife. I have Podridge in here. He is in Merciless and Reflex, so we can constantly get ally attacks going. And then Belz comes in here only to place two things. He is going to place block buffs, and he's going to place leech. He does it on the same ability. And I have taken my Ugo out of here, who did two things. She put decreased defense up and she put block buffs up. But she's inconsistent. But Belz is also inconsistent in a different way. And we'll get into that in just a minute. Toshiro, I have him in pretty much full Merciless, 9-piece Merciless. And then I have Teox here. And again, Teox also full Merciless. And Teox does quite a lot of damage. But if you look at the team, the basis of this is ally attack, and then right here, Teox, again, is also another ally attacker. Now, I could actually swap Krisk out here and put the Mad Hatter in and put the Mad Hatter in a provoke set, and we could get another ally attacker in here. I bet you we can push this up over 700 million damage. Honestly, I think with better RNG, we definitely would have been easily been able to hit 700 mil on Brutal for this team. But let's just kind of go into it. I'll show you the team here quick. Let's just here we go. So we got Lady Mikage. These are her this is her speeds and stuff. Boom. 100% crit rate, a little bit of crit damage, nothing. She's got accuracy. Actually, let me do this. Hydra battles. There we go. A lot of speed, accuracy, a little bit of resistance, doesn't really matter. And then some survivability here. She's decently tanky enough. And then let's look at Grand Oak Podridge. One of the champions I was actually very happy that I went for. Sadly, I didn't get his soul, his 5-star soul, but it is what it is. We'll look here again. Go down to Hydra. Podridge, 309. Pretty decent amount of crit damage for some reason. It's probably from the Merciless set. Resistance is pretty decent for Hydra. He doesn't have to worry about getting shit stolen usually. And I'm sorry, let's just we'll look at masteries here. I have him going down to War Master. And then let's just reset. And then here, I'll show you. Yeah, Lady Mikage, same thing, War Master. And then as you saw, I have Phantom Touch on her, and then Phantom Touch is also on Podridge, because they are in my Fire Knight Hard 10 team. Let's see. Well, we have Toshiro. Toshiro, I'm just going to admit, is kind of disgusting here. We'll just kind of do this. And Hydra. So 284 speed's really good. 342% crit damage. Attack could be higher, and I'd like it to be, but he needs accuracy as well because he needs to land decreased defense and leech. I love Toshiro. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. He is not in a 9-piece Merciless set. He is in a 7-piece Merciless. Okay, so he gets the ignore defense 35%. Then we'll go over here. I have him coming down to Helm Smasher. He is not a max HP nuking damage dealer, so this is better for him to have Helm Smasher instead of something like War Master or Giant Slayer. And then I have Malefic. How do you say it? Malefic Talon. And it just he has a chance to do 20% or 10% more damage, so not bad. We'll look at Teox quick. Because this video is supposed to be about Belz, but I just kind of want to show you the thought process behind the team. And again, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Teox is not in 9-piece Merciless. He is in at least 6. Yeah, 6 to ignore defense. Okay. These are his stats. Sorry, old habit. 250 speed, 319 crit damage, 6.5k attack. So he's got similar damage stats. Not as much crit damage, but he has the same amount of attack as Toshiro. And he doesn't need accuracy or anything. And for Teox, really, his A1 is what brings us together to let Toshiro do a lot more damage than he should, because he brings in Toshiro since Toshiro has the highest crit damage. I did have to tweak the team a little bit because Belz had the highest crit damage. So whenever Teox was attacking with his A1, Belz would help. And I'm like, ooh, nope, gotta change that. And then masteries for Teox, again, down to Helm Smasher. I do use him in Siege. I do switch him up for Siege. So there's that. And then now let's look at Belz. He has HP. Belz's stats in Hydra are this. 298 speed, okay crit damage. HP could be higher. Generally for an HP nuker, you want this to be over 100k. I know people are like, ooh, but I needed him to have accuracy and speed stats instead, because I want him to enable Toshiro, so Toshiro didn't always have to rely on his own leech debuffs being placed to let him do extra damage. So 427 accuracy is more than enough for Brutal. I didn't have a relic on him. And then, yeah, for him, though, I did bring him down to War Master, since he will be I won't be using him in Arena. He will be used in PvE content. And it's because of this. Right here's A3. He brings block buffs and leech. So a lot of champions in the game will place leech. But they usually do it on like an extra turn effect. And if you know anything about Hydra and us that are in the severe endgame, we go to the turn limit, right? It's just what happens. So when your turns are being taken into account, if you have somebody like who I love, Nekmo Thar, who I was using for a long time, Nekmo Thar takes an extra turn. And if he's taking twice as many turns as everybody else, just base, we're losing, you know, how many people we have on the team? Friggin' 6. So we're losing quite a bit of turns to just him, like, because he increases turn meter, and then he places decreased speed and leech, right? And now in Hydra, you don't want decreased speed being placed. You want block buffs, leech, you want increased speed on your team, and all that jazz. Because if you put decreased speed on the Hydra heads, because of how their buff works now, where they take no damage until they take a turn and that buff wears off, you've completely fucked yourself, because your team is taking more turns without doing any damage. So I'm trying to find a way to, like, I even considered taking Krisk out of the team and putting in a provoker that doesn't place decreased speed, so I could actually, it would drastically, I bet, increase my damage. I bet you I get up to 1 billion damage on Brutal with this team if I don't have Krisk in there. Mad Hatter is probably gonna be the next one I put in. But yeah, I do have a video showcase of his abilities, so we're gonna pull that up right now. Do this. Okay, so this is you know, we're 352 million in right now. Boss turn count 65. We're about 41 minutes in. When I do Hydra stuff, I base how much time has elapsed is how much damage I'm doing, because I've been doing it for so long. I'm like, okay, I'm at 40 minutes. I should be roughly at this, right? But let's just kind of go over Belz's abilities here. We're going to look at his passive. His passive is March of Reckoning. It'll increase his champion's max HP by 5%. This stacks up to 50%. And it also increases his crit damage by 5%. And this also stacks up to 50%. And this is for each debuff placed by this champion. Okay. He places, like I said, leech and block buffs. And he also places decreased defense on his A1. Which, by the way, that decreased defense is pretty reliable. I do like it quite a bit. But when I was building this team with Teox in mind, Belz had too much crit damage because after a couple turns, Belz was having more crit damage than Toshiro because of him placing his debuff. So he was the one getting called in with the A1 with Teox. So then I had to lower Belz's crit damage by quite a bit because I only want Toshiro to be the main damage dealer. That's just smacking. You understand me? So we'll go into that. Okay. Oh boy, that one passed pretty quick, didn't it? Terror Breach. We didn't even get to see it. Shit. Okay. Here, let's do this. A little bit of movie editing magic here. Because Terror Breach apparently didn't record right. Terror Breach is a 3-turn cooldown when booked. It's a 100% chance of having these things happen when booked. He will place block buffs and leech on all enemies for 2 turns. It's an AoE attack. He has to hit to place these debuffs. That's a big bummer, honestly. And then it will also fill his turn meter by 5% for each debuff placed by this skill. So Belz has a very interesting kit. I really do like it. He is a mix between a damage dealer and a support, but he's really leaning on the support, okay? So there's that. This is his A1. This is called Fiendfeller. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing decreased defense for 2 turns, and it will ignore 5% of the target's defense for each debuff on them. Okay. So mainly what you want to do with this skill is you want to smack somebody with at least, like, I don't know, 4 debuffs on him, like that. And he did 152,000 on A1, which is okay. Here's his A2, Gift of Pain, 3-turn cooldown when booked. Attacks one enemy, and then before attacking, he will steal all the buffs from the target, and then he will repeat this attack against all enemies if the initial target is under leech. Pretty good. And you just starting to see this in action here. I did down to a 1-time speed. The animation looks pretty cool. It does remind me of Calamitous. I'm sorry, we did have Terror Breach on here. So I did have a recording of like the sad thing that happens where he goes to put these debuffs up, but the Hydra heads are already on like under Poison Cloud or something, and then he's completely useless at that point. So to increase your uptime, honestly, you could put him in an Affinity Breaker set, which I probably will do to test for next Hydra Clash. Because that's what I have all my Ugos in, by the way. If you want the secret sauce to the Krabby Patty, that's what you do. You put champions that you absolutely need them to place debuffs. You put them in an Affinity Breaker so they can't weak hit. Yeah, Belz, he's, and again, I've said this many times, do not ever go by in-game ratings and recommendations. This is retarded here. Look at this defense set and life. Come on, Plarium. This is lazy shit. And then this is why I tell you not to go by in-game ratings on champions. Like, yeah, he's probably amazing for Faction Wars. Actually, 100%. He's really good for Faction Wars. He is an enabler for Hydra. He's going to be very good for, honestly, anybody in Hydra. But right now, I really do think, like, maybe Ugo would be better. But, again, I needed somebody to place an AoE leech that wasn't taking extra turns like Nekmothar. But you'll see champions that were, like, really, how do I put this? Let's just go look here. I think we can go here. I wonder if Dracomorph is still the same. Okay, so if we go to the ratings, no, Dracomorph is back to being amazing. Kandrafon's probably good now too. I know this is a controversial one here. Let's look at Noble. So Noble, yeah. So Noble, when he came out, just fucking awful. okay? And he's still kind of bad, but he's not completely awful anymore. They gave him a buff. I think he's gonna get another buff here soon. Um, but look at all these in-game ratings on Noble, right? Everybody hates him. He's fucking awful. He's garbage. Don't go by that. Look up a guide. Look up one of the content creators' guides like myself or one of the bigger ones, more established and well thought out. They're going to be able to tell you exactly what this champion can do. Because that's another thing. If we go here, actually, I wonder if Vlad's is still the same Undead Hordes. If we look at Vlad's in-game ratings, yeah, people still shit on this guy. Vlad is an amazing legendary. He's a very solid, like, fucking void legendary, and he still has shit ratings because these haven't been updated. He was a fusion that was only doing single target stuff on his A2 and his A3, and the community just completely shit on him because he wasn't great, but we still went for him because he was a void legendary, and we're like, one day they're going to buff him, and lo and behold, they did. All they did was, and all they had to do was change this to an AoE ability, and then this into an AoE ability. Which, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I could probably just take Belz out and put Vlad in and just make him the leech enabler because he puts the leech up. Oh, fuck. And he puts up decreased defense too. Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to play around with it a little bit, but it's just something I wanted to point out here at the end of the video. Honestly, I think Belz is going to be good in two, maybe three places, right? First place he's going to be good in is Hydra, okay? I think very much that he is going to be enabling a lot of builds to like keep you alive and everything. Also, he's going to be very good in like regular clan boss as well. He brings leech and block buffs, so the regular clan boss can't get his stuff. Also, he brings decreased defense on his A1. Great skill. Chimera, he's probably going to be okay in. I wouldn't put it past for Chimera. Yeah. And again, the famous saying, he's going to be really good here in Curse City, I think. And also stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a video on this stage here. I cleared this stage, S19, notoriously one of the hardest stages in the game to try and clear. I'm going to do a guide on this. Yeah, I have a couple more. I don't think I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat that one. This one, that's going to be easy. This one, I just have to do some re-gearing, and that one I can clear. This will be easy. I'll definitely be able to clear that. But yeah, sorry. This is supposed to be about Belz, not about crazy meanderings, but we'll do some editing. Anyways, everybody, I want you to have a great day. And yeah, if you got Belz, don't be too bad. Don't be too sad about it. Like, he's good. He's not amazing. But again, you know, it's like Pokemon, so you got to catch them all, right? And again, I really do like the Krampus aesthetic because he is Krampus. By the way, there's a couple champions that are Krampus in this game. Let's just do this. Because Belz was Krampus, and then so is Arcak. You know, Akak, the Wandering, another Krampus-inspired guy. But everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.